Hey guys, it is me, Kisame Unlimited. Today is a Toot and Boot for the people that are new to the Toot and Boot segment. The Toot and Boot segment is a segment where I tackle two of the most recent Yu-Gi-Oh cards that have been announced in the past week, and I talk about them and I give my overall opinions if I think that they will be good, if I think that they'll be bad. If I think they're good, I'll give them a toot. If they're bad, I think I'll just give them a flat-out boot, and I'll just say the card's bad. I don't think it'll take off. Other than that, I normally do them on Saturdays. A couple of days ago, I wanted to do a monthly topic because I wanted to talk about the all-new Link summoning and the Link monsters. So now that that's all covered, now I can finally get back to the Toot and Boot and talking about the most recent cards. The two cards that we're going to be talking about is Punishment Dragon and Jain, the Twilightsworn General. When I thought that Lightsworms couldn't get any more support, they're getting Twilightsworn support. So that's an interesting quality. I originally thought that these weren't going to work with Lightsworms and they were going to be like their own unique thing that would contradict the original Lightsworms, which I thought would have been really interesting. But these cards are meant to work with the Lightsworn monsters. So we're going to see how this works. We're going to first tackle Punishment Dragon, and we're going to see where this goes. Alright, so Punishment Dragon is a dark dragon, level 8, 3000 attack, 2600 defense, pretty much the same stats as Judgment Dragon. His effect states, cannot be normal summon / set, must be special summoned from your hand while 4 or more Lightsworn monsters with different names are banished, and cannot be special summoned by any other ways. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you could pay 1000 life points to shuffle all cards in the graveyard and face-up banished cards into the deck, except Lightsworn monsters. Once per turn, if a Lightsworn monster you control activates its effect, send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Now, we have this card, which at face value, I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, all your cards kind of need to be banished to get this ball rolling, so you kind of have to mix it in a, like, you see, if you're supposed to mix these with Lightsworms, because I feel like, why would I want to play this card over Judgment Dragon? Because Judgment Dragon, like, literally comes on the field, nukes it, and then you could just go for game. This card does no sort of destruction quality to your opponent's field. It fucks with your opponent's graveyard and banish zone and put that shit back in their main deck, which is a great quality, but at face value, you kind of have to bend your deck completely. A good way to make these cards both work off each other is you could play JD, nuke the field, then summon Punishment Dragon, and then basically fuck with your opponent's graveyard and their banish zone, and then they have really like no way of coming back because everything in their graveyard, they can't work off of it anymore, which is a good quality. At the end of the day, I'm not too fond of it. I think the Punishment Dragon is a card that I think may not really take off, but at the end of the day, I'm giving it a very, very low toot. I think the card is good. I think the card has potential. Do I think it's really better than, Judgment Dragon? Because you have a card that's basically just like Judgment Dragon, but requires a different mechanic. You need the cards to be banished instead. So you kind of think to yourself, like, do I really want to play this over Judgment Dragon? No, not really. But if you could find a really good way to make it work and merge the two, great. But personally, I think it's a toot, but a very low toot, because you have a very big competitor. You have Judgment Dragon. You have to like offer something really big to the table, and what I think he offers isn't good enough. The next card, Jain, the Twilightsworn General. He's a warrior, level 4, 1800 attack and 1200 defense. Standard as Jain, and his effect states, once per turn you could banish one Lightsworn monster from your hand or graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field. It loses attack and defense equal to the banished monster's level times 300 until the end of this turn. Once per turn, if another Lightsworn monster you control activates its effect, send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So these Twilightsworn monsters need another Lightsworn monster on the field to start, discarding cards from the top of your deck to end up like, milling. You need another Lightsworn on your side of the field milling for them to actually mill, which is not so good. I kind of would prefer if they all naturally did their own milling, that they didn't have to depend on the other Lightsworn monsters to mill, so you can't really run the Twilightsworn engine by itself. You have to run them with Lightsworms to make this work. I mean, I guess they're going to do this to all of them, like Aaron, Lumina, Lila. We're going to see like new Twilightsworn versions of all the Lightsworn monsters, which maybe they'll make them really, really good. But in my opinion, I think him being able to send a Lightsworn from your hand is not a good quality. You're not going to want to do that just for some weakening of attack points. But doing it from the graveyard, that's pretty good. If you, let's just say, banish, let's just say, Lila, you have a banished monster in your graveyard for Punishment Dragon, and at the end of the day, that times, 4 times 300, that's 1200, and Jain has good attack points. So I think that that's really good. It's better than the Jain from Lightsworns. So it's an okay card. It's not a great card. It's nothing to go wild about. It's a little mediocre, but I mean, I'll give it a toot. They're low toots. They're not bad cards, but they're not amazing cards. Like, I'm not gonna lose my shit over these two. They have like nothing really to offer. Like Jain, all it offers is just a little bit of weakness on an opponent's monster, and Punishment Dragon just comes on the field and say, I'm gonna deal with the Graveyard on the Banished Zone. I still have that good 3,000 stat though, so I'm like, yeah, whatever. I overall think these cards are good, but simple as that. There's like garbage, weak, okay, good, and that's where they are. They're like a good. And then there's like really good, great, awesome, God. and honestly, I want to see more like better cards. But they're not bad cards. They're really good cards. But they have to be used in a very specific way, and I'm curious to see how the community will make these cards really good. But those are overall my opinions. Leave your opinions, how you feel about Punishment Dragon and Jain, the Twilightsworn General. And I hope you guys all have a great day. If you guys would like to see me tackle any other cards in the Toot and Boot segment, leave them in the comment section below. It would be greatly appreciated. Like the video if you haven't already. Makes my day if you do. And it helps the channel grow. Other than that, I hope you guys all have a great day. Better tomorrow. And I will see you guys in another Toot and Boot segment based video. Have a great day. Bye.